In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a way to actually delete from the existing brush strokes to get your desired transition in between sun and shadow lines. So first of all, I have already set up a path around my sun disk, and let's just go to the brush and set it to the shadow line width, which is 20 pixels in this case, and go back to the pen tool, right click on the path and stroke your path. You can see that this is all the way around a shadow line width around your path right now, and I'm going to change the opacity to 70% so we can see our line, our pencil line below the brush stroke much better. So this is obviously not going to be the case our final version. So let's just go to the eraser and erase the part which will be pure sunline. So this section here can be erased and then later on replaced by a sunline. Be very careful not to erase on the transitional part, because we are going to deduct that area in a way that it's going to be transitional. So let's just say that, for example, in the case of a sun relief, which is this sun is going to be, this is sort of the area where our transition is going to end and be replaced with sunline. And at the same time, on the lower left part, this is sort of the area where it's going to be replaced with a sunline as well. So as you can see, from here to all the way up here, this is going to be pure sunline. Let's just add this sunline, then go to the brush and go to the brush size and replace it with the sunline width, which is 10 pixels in this case. Go back to the pen tool, right click over your path and stroke your path. As you can see, now you have a nice sunline in this area. Now let's just delete our path. We don't need it anymore. We are going to zoom in a little bit further and select this area where you can see your transition is going to be, and set up another path over this area. What's going to happen here is that I'm going to start on top where our transition starts, move all the way down to the sunline. You can have a little extra space here so it bends in quite nicely with the sunline, and then start adding more anchor points all the way around to actually close it and have a nice little shape over this area, which has two important points sitting on the outside of your line, marking those transition points. Now I'm going to add an anchor point to the inside, hold down Command on the Mac, and then start adjusting my anchor point so my line marks the area where my transition is going to be. So let's say it's going to be like this. This is a nice curve, but it goes into your shadow area and runs into your sun area rather harshly. So I'm going to add a few more anchor points, lift the line a little bit to make it more to the desired shape, as you can see here, and I'm going to add another one right here. So this would represent my transition much better than before. So as you can see, this is a nice curve now, and it follows up the curvature of the transition quite nicely. Now, how are we going to get rid of this section which is inside? It's very easy. We actually all we have to do is right click on our path and say make selection. You don't have to change anything in here, just hit OK and make this entire portion of your line a selected area. This is now our selected area. All we have to do now is hit delete, and then that part of the brush, what's inside the selection, gets deleted, then deselected. Now what we have to do now, this is perfect, we just do exactly the same thing from the inside. Hit again your first anchor point, got another one, open it, open it, open it, close it, and then in here start adding your line just the way you like it. Hold down the command button, start adding, moving to the inwards a little bit, changing the lines so they are actually sitting quite nicely right here. You just raise it a little bit. This part is already looking much better than before, and here again you just want to bend it in, so you have to raise this line a little bit and make it a nice transition from shadow to sun. And again, right click, make it a selection, hit OK and delete, and then deselect. So now you have this perfect transition in between shadow line and sun line. If you're unsatisfied with the points where they meet, you can always use the eraser and just erase a little bit and make it bend in even more. So when you zoom out, you can see that your transition is actually quite nicely done. I'm going to change the opacity back to 100 so you can see how nicely it's curving and bending in at the transitional part.